Anyway, so we're back. All right, here's what I want to tell you. In the last, gosh, I don't even know how long it's been. Over the last few months, it's been pretty serious. Oh, thank you. I love you too. I have received so many emails with questions, which I love questions. I live for questions. But do you know what I've noticed is that some of the questions cause me concern because they suggest to me that perhaps there's a lot of confusion about what the Akashic record is and how to use it and how it can be helpful to us. So, so I am very committed to people having a real clear, appropriate understanding of what the record is and what you can reasonably expect. What I know about everything is that when my expectations are appropriate, my results are always better. And it's always that way when working in the records and um, just in everything. So we want to make sure our expectations are on track. So, so here's the thing. Let's talk about what the records are, right? The Akashic record is a vibrational archive of every soul and its journey. Okay. What that means, it's vibrational. So it's invisible. You will never see the record. There's nothing to see. There's no like cosmic library you'll be led to. No, 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 no. Okay. It's invisible. It's vibrational. As an archive, it's a treasury. And so it's a collection of every soul. So every human being that has ever walked the face of the earth is included. Okay, everyone's included and everyone's included for all time. So there's, because this is what makes up the record, right? So there's no such thing like we can never vote anybody out. We can't throw them out. That no one can erase you from the record, which is very good if you ask me. Oh gosh, oh, we've got some more people have come in. Anyway, um, so this is what the record is: vibrational archive of every soul and its journey as human, right? Now maybe, I mean, I don't know, perhaps you've been, living on other planets in other galaxies. That's possible. I mean, I don't know. That's not, I don't study that. That's not my work. Um, but I know the record doesn't address that. The record also doesn't address if you were an animal, right? It doesn't, like, because there are some people who say, oh, we have lifetimes as human, we have lifetimes as animal. Is that true? I have no idea, honestly. I do know that the record doesn't address it. So it's our lifetimes as human. Now, what's very cool is that every set of records has two parts, right? There is the fixed permanent part, right? It's like your identity. It's your ultimate identity is encoded in that part, and it's woven into the fabric of your soul, which is infinite, eternal, immortal, right? So who you are as a being is impressed into the fabric of your soul, and that's the permanent part of your record. And listen, that identity, I used to be afraid. I was like, oh God, oh, what about this? What if that identity is terrible? Well, it can't be. Because if you know anything about the soul is made of love, right? It is made of love and it reflects love. So don't worry. The very core essence of who you are is wonderful. Oh my God, right? It's really good. Now, what happens? Oh, I love all these floating hearts and things. Do you see this? Are they on the screen? I just love them. I never saw that before. I'm not like this. Anyway, it's very cool. I'm going to learn how to do it for next time. Anyway, so here's this. Oh, so you get the first part, right? It's your soul level identity, right? It's constant. So, we change human form throughout our human journey, right? Our journey as human. So sometimes, we're here as in one gender or another, and rich, poor. I mean, we have every human experience possible. Oh God, I love it. It's like, look at all these things. And somebody's here from Texas. Hi, Jackie. Anyway, what travels along with that part of the record is the changeable, it's the evolving, the emerging part of your Akashic record. And that is, it's like a collection of the stories of the lifetimes you live as a human being, through which you wake up to the truth of who you are. And you begin to live that truth. It's terrific. Okay, so some people will say, oh, the Akashic record is fixed. Do you know that's true? Other people will say, no, it changes. This is also true, because there are two parts to every set of records. So that's what the record is. All right. Now, I'm wondering if you guys have any questions. Oh, there's Amy Mack. Hi. Wow. So, do we have questions? Do you know what? I have joined a vocabulary club on the internet. I digress. And what's happened is that my vocabulary club just sent me my word for the day, and I cannot get to the part. Good, it's gone. Now I can get to the part on my feed. I couldn't see the feed because I saw the word for the day, which I don't know what it was because I couldn't focus. But I'll see, there's always something to learn. Every day there's a new word. Anyway, that's another story. Good. Do we have a question? Oh, Deanna, hi. This is a great question, Deanna. What could hold someone back from accessing the records? It's a great question. All right. There are a few things. In order to work in the record, you have to have a desire, right? And it has to be your desire. Okay, if somebody else wants you to be, like, you might be really very talented in a lot of things, right? And someone will say, oh, you should read the records. But in your heart of hearts, you're not there. It's not what you're not really interested. Okay, so the first thing that's required is you have to have a sincere desire. And what the desire is for is to have a more conscious connection with your own soul. That's really what working in the records is about. Okay, so if you want, like, I don't know, sometimes people they expect to have like supernatural abilities, like to see colors and to be able to levitate and do all kinds of things like that. If that's what you want, you probably don't want to work in the record because it's spiritual. And so the first thing is you want to check your desire. Is it my desire? Okay. And you understand how that is. Okay. So that's the first thing. The next thing is, my observation is that people who have that desire have the ability. Okay. Because desire and ability travel together. So if you have the desire, like, God, I want to do that, that is a signal that you have the natural ability to do it. However, here's the catch. This is a great question, Deanna. The catch is this, that we are the first generation, right? The first group of secular human beings to be in a position to learn how to connect with the Akashic record in a conscious, responsible, deliberate way. So there aren't like, there aren't like scores of people ahead of us on the path who know how to do this, who can teach us, right? So even though, like Deanna, I'm sure you have the natural ability, or you wouldn't even be here, right? So the ability is there, but we're learning as human beings, we're learning how to engage the record, how to have it be useful for us, right? And so you want to make sure that you um, get for yourself the best training possible. So you want to make sure if someone is working in the record that you admire and respect them, that the way they are helpful to you and others is a way that you would like to copy, to really emulate, right? That's really important. Okay. Then it's a practice. Okay, it really is. It's not an event. I'm sorry to say. It's not magic. It's not an event. There is no force in the universe that is going to prevent you from having a more conscious connection with your own soul. Now, maybe we knew how to do this in other lifetimes, but I don't know. I know for myself, that may be the case, but I have been a little rusty and required some real work, some practice, right? Learning how to work in the record. And I have classes, I teach classes, I have certified teachers, people that I have trained who I trust to work with students. I have books. You want to make sure when you're reading them, if the material you're reading, if it makes sense to you, then it's good for you. If it doesn't make sense to you, then no, right? Then it's not right for you. So the thing to know is that there is no human being can prevent you. I don't care how they might frighten you, right? I know I've certainly been frightened by people from time to time. But people might say, oh, there's a curse on you. There's no such thing. No one can interfere with your ability to have a more conscious connection with your own soul. Okay? However, it is a relationship. And like all relationships, it requires that you show up for it and you do what you can. You do your part. And if you don't do your part, it's just like, how you have friends that you really love and you remember, oh, we used to be so close. That closeness can be rekindled simply if you pick up and you make the call and you go visit and you follow the steps. I hope that answers your question. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful question. So I say give yourself the training you deserve. You deserve good training. Now, what I know, and you probably know this too, is that 25 years from now, we will not have to teach people how to make this connection because it's something we'll be very familiar with. But it's only certainly in my lifetime. Gosh, when I was young, we wouldn't even, in a 1,000 years, I never thought we'd be able to work in the record in my lifetime. But I thought a lot of things weren't going to happen. So, I never thought I could carry a phone in my back pocket. So, geez. Okay. So let's say, oh, good. We've got some other. Okay. Heather, access to the records in the past. How does the soul remembrance of working into the records come into play? This is an interesting question, Heather. Very, very interesting. Oh, I've got a couple I missed, but let me talk about this for a minute. Okay, here's the thing, that our experiences in other lifetimes, especially if we were successful, right? Those experiences are within us. And what they do is they tend to nurture our curiosity, our interest, and our desire, right? So if you were really adept working in the record in another time and place as another person, what you may find is that in this lifetime, it's pretty easy for you. It's like natural. Some people report, and I love it when this happens. People will say to me, gosh, when I go in the records, I feel like I've been there a million times. Well, you have. That's why you want to go back. So what it does is, see, because what we're doing, as Heather really raises such a great point here, is that through our lifetimes, we are cultivating our awareness. We are nurturing our natural gifts, talents, and abilities, and it is contributing to our flow in this life, right? It's giving us some direction and dimension to our own individual path. So, so even though, like perhaps the way you connected with the records is no longer viable, right? It's archaic. It's like, you know, it was great 700 years ago, but now it's obsolete. There are easier ways to do it, right? So some of the methods will be different, some of the practices, but that experience, right? Like, ooh, I've been here before, I know it. And that actually is very encouraging. It's really, thanks, Heather. Great question. I have a couple, okay. What can I change about your financial state? Well, who asked this? Jackie, honey, that's a great question. So the first thing to know, first of all, whatever your money is, it's all right. You know, sometimes as human beings, we have a lot of money and sometimes we don't have any. It is not a moral issue. Your finances are not a moral issue. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is give yourself a break, right? It is true, right? It's absolutely true that you're an infinite, eternal, immortal being at the level of your soul. That's true, no doubt. But as a human being, we all have vulnerabilities and frailties and weaknesses, and some of us even have blind spots. Okay. And so the first thing though is that we can never make any changes, whether it's our money, our health, our relationships, what else, you name it, right? We can never make any changes until we have made peace with who we are in the circumstances in which we find ourselves. So what that means, whether you have a lot of money or no money, or I don't know, you know, wherever your money is, the question is, how do I love myself, even though my finances are in the garbage can, right? That's the first question. The most spiritual thing you can do is extend kindness and respect to yourself, wherever you are, whether you don't have any money, whether you got a couple mountains of credit card debt, whatever, right? That's the starting point. And it's actually, you know, it's the practice, it's the spiritual practice of unconditional self-love that was revealed to me. This was revealed to me in my records, God, a long time ago. And it is the foundation principle of the material in the healing class, right? The first step always, can I extend kindness and respect to myself, even though I am in this very undesirable predicament? By doing that, right? By doing that, to stop weaponizing whatever your situation is, and to treat yourself. Listen, I know you're very kind and understanding to your friends, and the invitation of the spiritual path is to be that way with yourself. So you want to try that, right? Just try being nice to yourself and things will start to open up. When we get mad at ourselves, we get jammed up, but it's not magic. There's no magic. I mean, if there's magic, somebody needs to tell me, because I haven't found it yet. I mean, who went, you know, magic is good. Anyway, Jackie, I love your question. I just love it. Okay, now we've got, Lig Moose. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but you're in Barcelona. Yay. Welcome. Welcome. I bet it's warm and sunny there. Okay, now here we have, let's see, Melissa's asking about their different processes. No. I like your question, Melissa. It's really clear. So here's how this goes. What was revealed to me in my own work in the records in 2001 is a prayer, right? It's like the key. It's the pathway prayer process, and it accesses the heart of the Akashic record. So in the saying of the prayer, which I write about in all my books, right? In the saying of the prayer, we experience a subtle shift in our awareness so that we can detect, right, the presence, right? It's easier to make that connection with this Akashic field, right? That's what happens. So when we're in the record, it doesn't matter if it's the story of the lifetime or the essence, right? The fundamentals of who you are as a person. All of that is available in the record. But as you can probably guess, Melissa, the way this goes is like if I open your records, even though past, present, and future are all included in there, they're not going to fall on my head into my awareness all at once, because that would not be helpful. It would be glamorous. It would not be helpful, right? So what happens is that we come to a reading with questions about what's happening in my life. Like, Jackie just said, well, what about money? What about our finances, right? So we start with, what are the questions? What's challenging for you in your life right now? Right now, it's interesting. Sometimes these life challenges, sometimes it's like, oh, I want to get away from a problem, a trouble, right? A person, a place, a circumstance that's really troublesome. Sometimes we want to get away from. Other times we're moving toward our dreams. And that can at different times be very confounding to us. And so we might have questions about that. So we bring our questions about what's happening in my life right now, right? That I don't understand, that, oh, I seem to be in the same pot of soup I always land in, right? And so we start to work with those questions. And what we do is we pay attention. Like when I work in my own records, I pay attention, and I happen to write things down because I can't remember very much. So it's helpful to write things down. So that's what, so the first step is always to know, right? To have that awareness, like, oh, and what's interesting working in the records is it's not stuff that you never say, like, I have never said, that can't possibly be true, because they're my records. So if they're your records, you're going to be like, oh, I think I knew that about myself. So what happens is, what comes into focus, we've all been living many, many lifetimes. You've been alive for, like your soul, right? You've had many incarnations. Throughout those lifetimes, you, Melissa, have been cultivating wisdom, understanding, brilliance of all kinds. And you take that with you from lifetime to lifetime. All right. And so when the Akashic light shines on you through the saying of the prayer, everything you've known for lifetimes, whether it's you, and if Heather's in her records, right? Jackie's in her records. When you're in your own records, there's a sense like, oh, I think I knew that about myself, but I haven't been able to grasp it very clearly. And that's what the records help us to do, to become awake and aware of what we've already suspected about ourselves, and sometimes are a little bit shy. Most of us were raised in traditional religious belief systems where it's like a bad idea to think good thoughts about yourself. So working in the records can be a little challenging, because they're actually it's very nice, right? It's kind, it's respectful, it's honorable. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Nobody's gonna yell at you or give you a hard time. Okay, there's some more. Gosh, there's questions and comments. Oh, there's so many. Gosh. Okay. Now, Terry. Okay, wait a second. Okay, Melissa, listen, I want to answer all your questions, but you know what? I can only answer one at a time. Okay, Susan, where are you, Susan, honey? I know you're here. Susan said the prayer a few years ago asking about past lives, got a message about coming from the 7 sisters. I have no idea what that is. Do you have 7 sisters? I have 5 sisters. How much? Get your mind around that. 2 brothers, 5 sisters. I don't know what that is, sweetheart. So I can't help you. Jennifer wants to know, how do I be a more neutral reader for others? Well, I think the real question, this is a very interesting question, Jennifer. Here's the thing, sweetheart. You, Jennifer, are a person, as you know. We're all people. And one of the great benefits of being a human being is that we are emotional and we have compassion and we have sympathy and empathy and all those things, right? We really feel for others. People who want to do readings for others are normally extremely sensitive, but not only sensitive, they're responsive to the true needs of others. And that's why people come to you. So, one of the reasons people come to you, Jennifer, is because you are so loving. You do have the ability to open your heart to them, to see and know the best about that person, even though they might have done some pretty wacky and ridiculous things. You are a person who has the ability to, to really treat them well, even though as human beings they might be stumbling. Okay, so I think we want to, I know for myself, I used to think, I want to be neutral. I just want to be like a machine. And much to my surprise, and certainly to my chagrin at different points, I have discovered that I'm not a machine, and neither are you. And the reason people will come to you is because of the warmth of your humanity. So don't be afraid to show that to people. It's okay to have your feelings. But here's the thing, if you start like if you start getting hysterical, like, oh, I'm so sad, blah blah blah, for your client, the reading is no longer about the client, it's about you. So just keep your and I know, listen, I've learned all these things the hard way. I want to save you a little trouble. So just just make sure that you keep your focus on the other person and how you can be helpful. And I know you'll do a great job. Okay, so don't worry about that, honey. All right. Now, I know, let's see, what else? All right. We've got Terry Taylor. Is that right? Yeah, it is. Hi, Terry. Listen, Terry was trained by one of my students. Okay, great. I hope that student was a certified teacher. Okay. Okay, and you've been in your records daily. Cool. How would you move into the service of reading the records for others? All right. So here's the first thing. This is a great question. I love this question. The first thing is this: you really want to check your heart. Okay. Do you as a person, do you really want to do readings for other people? Yes or no? It's a yes no question. Maybe it's a later. Maybe it's I don't want to do it now. So if you have a real desire to be helpful to others by working in their records, then you can try it. But here's what I recommend. First of all, there's a class, there are classes, right? And actually, I've got all these online classes. You can to check them out, right? To really learn how do you use the records when working with others. And I think especially the healing work is really incredibly helpful when working with others, right? Because we learn what to reasonably expect when working with other people and how to really see them, right? Get a sense of them, to know them through this lens of the Akasha, which is the lens of light. And light, when it comes into human beings, converts immediately into love. So that's what, okay. You learn, get the training you deserve. Okay. That's the first thing. Follow the directions. And then when you're working with other people, especially when you're new, God, don't make any promises. Don't say to them, oh, I'll cure you of this. This is spiritual healing. This is in the family of spiritual counseling. So what we do is we work with others to empower them to see and know themselves in the light of truth, the light of goodness. And in order for us to do that, we have to be able to see and know them that way, right? So as we recognize the essential goodness in others, the loving motives they've had, even when they've done some pretty crazy things, as we begin to register those truths about others, our readings for others become immensely beneficial to them and, of course, to us. So I would really recommend, I'm doing this online healing class in the spring. You might want to come to that. It's online, and we go through the steps of how to approach our own work in the records and our work with others from the angle, right? How to see and know ourselves and others through that lens of unconditional love. Okay. So I don't know. I hope that helps. But here's the thing. Like, don't promise anything. Oh God, don't do that to yourself. What you do is you say, listen, I, I'm learning how to do this work. Perhaps it will help you. What you do is you offer to help someone and don't guarantee anything. Because then the people that you piss off, they're going to contact me anyway. Don't do that. Okay, but you don't have to. You can say, hey, let's look at this together. Perhaps I can help you. I will do my best. That's all you have to do. And what's really remarkable is that when we begin to recognize ourselves, others, circumstances, all these things through this lens of unconditional love, transformation is ignited. It just starts. It just takes off, right? So we don't force anything, and certainly we never force anything on our client. The challenge, if anyone is going to be transformed in the reading, it's the reader. Okay, so I never say, you've got to love yourself. That is not helpful. It's been said to me, not helpful. What is helpful is when I come to you for a reading, okay? And I know, I have the sense, I can feel it, that you're not holding my mistakes against me. That is remarkable. And then I can soften up and not be such a bully to myself. And then change is underway. Because see, this is the nature of spiritual work. It's extending love and respect when it's not deserved, right? Listen, I was raised in a religion that was all about earning, right? It was all about management and earning. So I understand the experience. I had it when I first started working in the records. So funny. I would go in, I'd be like, oh, I'm not a good mother. I'm like not a whatever. I'm going on with this litany of everything that's wrong with me. And the records would be like, it's all right. What are you going to do? You thought that was a good idea. I thought something must be terribly wrong. Why are they being so nice to me? This is the truth. And it took me a while to understand that I was being introduced to a whole new point of view. Right? And it was the reality. Unconditional means no matter what. And so it's really, whoa, it's unconditional. Okay. All right. Now, I wanted to, you know what else? I got another great question from somebody. I know some of you are just coming into the records. Some of you are really seasoned practitioners. I know we've got a whole range of people here, which is great. But I want to talk just for a moment. I got a great question from my friend Amy. And I don't know if she's still here. Anyway, if you're here, Amy, hi. So the question, live in times, we're in times of such dramatic change. And one of the areas of change is in the awareness of gender, right? It used to be, well, there's, male and female and, nothing in between. Well, it turns out here we are in 2020, and there's an entire spectrum of gender, right? Gender fluidity. Okay. And there are many people all over the world who are waking up and saying, now, wait a second. I know I was born a girl, but I'm not so sure. I don't really, that's not how I identify. People have choice now about how they identify their gender. Okay. And when we open the records using the pathway prayer process, we use traditional pronouns, he, she. Okay. That's what we do. Okay. And we do that because the prayer came to me in 2001 before the gender revolution. Okay. Now, if someone comes to you and they have a particular preferred gender identity, right? Whatever it is, it's fine, right? They're, gosh, I mean, all roads are gonna lead to Rome anyway. So that's not the, but the issue is, how do we show them the kindness and the respect that they deserve? I want you to know, for this particular issue, like, what pronoun do we use? I think it's a good idea to ask people. Okay. Some people who are in this process of emerging gender identity will be very oh, I want to say generous with us, um, and say, you know, don't, whatever. They will give us their preference. And if they don't give you their preference and you are confused, just ask. Okay, people who are engaged on their path, um, even though I'm sure it's not their first choice, and I know they must be very tired of people asking, but really we want to be able to give people their due, right? To really address them in whatever way they like. And so please simply ask. And you can admit that you're a little confused. I'm sorry. I really want to be able to, speak to you appropriately, but I'm not sure. Tell me, what is your preferred pronoun? That's all you have to do. And I know, certainly from the transgender people that I know in my own life, I mean, they're very sensitive to this, and they understand they're part of this um, group of souls that are here to educate some of us who don't have this issue. So just be straight up with people. People are really great. And whatever the question is, if you can't pronounce their name, if right, whatever the question is, if you don't understand, sometimes people start talking about a life issue they're facing, and we're not sure what it is. You can ask them to explain it. I do it. Listen, I have to do it all the time. Just wait till you get older, right? And the parts start giving out. You got to ask all kinds of things. All righty. Now, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, my goodness gracious. Great. Oh, hi, Karen. Nice to see you. Terry. Cool, cool. Okay. I know. How about it, Melissa? The unconditional love. Oh, there's Amy Mack. Hi, Amy. I hope that helped. All right. Now listen. I have to go. Do you know, somebody told me, do you want to hear something funny? Somebody told me, well, these live Facebooks, right? Oh, maybe 10 minutes, maybe on the outside 35 minutes. Obviously, I can stand here all day. You guys keep sending questions. I have to go. Listen, I love you. Thank you. Let's do this again. What do you say? If you want to come, we can meet again next week. Let's do the same time, just for convenience, so we don't forget. But we can come back. Let's meet next week at the same time. If please come on live. If you have friends, tell them we'd love to have them. And listen, I don't care if you are brand new to this, or you've been doing this for centuries, which I know some of you have, right? Wherever you are is really fine. You can come and you can ask your questions. That's really why I'm here. I know that if you are here with me on this, whatever this is, on this platform, I know you're here because you have the ability to shed new light on yourself, your challenges, your opportunities. And you also have the ability to shed that light on others. Okay? And so I know that by connecting, you and I, what happens when the light recognizes itself in another, the light is quickened. And so the light in me responds to the light in you. And I don't know if you feel it, but I feel it right now. I am absolutely delighted that we could be together. So the other thing is, if you want to learn more, you can go to my website. That's lindahowe.com. If you're interested in the healing class, I don't know, I know whatever. Some of you have already taken it. Some of you, I say review. I have every time I teach a class, I have to review it. I have to do it again for myself. So I know there's always more. But anyway, if you're interested in that, it's an online class. It's in April. It's going to be live. It's going to be a ton of fun. And so I think that's it. Thanks for being here. I want to thank you all for being on whatever this is. I want to say the call, but we're not on a call. I don't know what we're on. We're in the ether. So thank you. I love you. I love you. I want to have a special thanks to my friend Valerie Ursini, who you will never see, by the way. She's dear. She's the designated driver. She's always here helping me. But she does have pink headphones. Hey, listen, I'm digging these whatever these emojis are, and I'm going to tell you, before we meet again, I'm going to learn how to do this. All right. Thank you so much. I love you. And I'll see you. I hope I see you next week. Okay. Bye-bye.